I'm going to talk about the design of our new Kuching hotel, the Everly Lesson Kuching, which is under construction. When we walk into the project, this hotel is on a shopping center. It is actually the most busy shopping center in Kuching. It's the biggest. And there's a hotel on top of it that the owner who has appointed us has purchased from the developer. We were operating a small hotel in Kuching from about 15 years earlier. And when I walked into the project, I already knew the market condition, roughly. And what I saw was that the shopping center is very good, a lot of F&B. So when I see a lot of F&B and at that type of pricing, you can't compete with them already. So the hotel design is about 240 rooms. And there is a banquet hall, but the banquet hall is very hard to design because there are columns, right? And so it's very difficult to be 100% column free. And basically, for 240 rooms, we want to reach a banquet hall of 500 seater and more meeting rooms. Yeah, but this is the only space we have. And typical of an architect, the architect has never done a hotel before. So, example, one of the problems was the lift call for the guests. The service lift also open to the lift call with the guests. So how can we be moving dirty laundry in front of the guests, right? So I said that this one definitely cannot go. I said we need to look for a place, but luckily I found a new place at the end of the room building that can go from the rooftop down to the basement where the receiving will be. So that part was solved that way. It's a new connection. So the owner has to pay for that. The second part, huge challenge we have is that the architect never left enough rooms for back of the house, and staff changing room, raw food production, and even office for the staff. So we had to make a lot of compromises, right? Basically, we have to take part of the lowest floor to become now the office. So the office is on the first floor with some staff changing room. Then we have to look at the banquet hall. We can barely sit 250 people, and if we sit 250, there are 3 columns there, which there's no way we can remove because it's structural column. But this is the best you can do. You just have to compromise and do the best you can. And the kitchen is on the side of the service lift now. And again, we look for we normally like the banquet kitchen to have a soundproofing corridor, so the sound from the kitchen doesn't travel to the ballroom. So again, we had no choice but on the 5th floor where the banquet hall is, where the reception is, we have to squeeze in a small cafe also, right? But among all the planning, I look at the rooftop and I said, well, we have no choice. We got to make use of the rooftop. So the flat rooftop, what we have done in the design is we managed to put in another banquet hall sitting about 120, which can divide into 2 rooms. So we recover some. Then we put the swimming pool there. The hotel was designed without a swimming pool. And we put a small gym, very small one. And then we also have bar area. So the idea is that with the swimming pool there, we are going to try to run the rooftop bar as a smoking area rooftop bar because Kuching doesn't have one. And this hotel is probably one of the tallest building there. So we want to attempt the rooftop bar in that sense. So these are the challenges we are facing, right? And the problem is that when you don't have enough back of the house, it's a huge problem. So our plan right now is the hotel will open end of 2025, probably around October or November. And I've told the owner that there's not enough meeting room, so we may have to rent some spaces that are vacant in the shopping center and convert them into meeting room, but it cannot be done now. Second part is after we start to hire staff and we can plan more detail, we also need staff area. So that one we are also looking at renting some shop houses nearby and even put storage there. So it's a huge challenge, but what we prefer to do as a company is that whatever space is available, we prefer to make it a revenue generating space, and whatever back of the house space we try to compromise because because it's better to have higher revenue, and even if you have to have off-site location for some storage, some offices, and there are a lot of inconvenience with that, but it is better to have inconvenience rather than no business and no revenue, and you reduce your chances of breaking even. So this type of design sector, etc., you can't talk to an international management company because they come with what I call cookie cutter. This is it. This is another banquet hall. This is the meeting room, and you just follow. And if you cannot follow, you cannot have that brand name. But you can't do that. Every location has its design challenges, and I've never been on a project where you don't compromise on design challenges so that you make the hotel feasible.